Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, a place where we crack open those dense corporate filings and try to see if companies are truly shining or just hiding. Today, we're diving into NeoVolta Inc. Its latest annual report, and let's just say there are some interesting numbers that might make you rethink what energy storage really means for their bottom line. Stick around to see if they're powering up for success or running on fumes. So, NeoVolta Incorporated, they're in the business of making energy storage systems, to keep your lights on when the grid goes down or to make your solar panels work even better. They've got these systems called NVIC, SIR, NuSIR, and NV+, and they're trying to sell them to homes and businesses. They've been expanding their reach across the United States and Puerto Rico, and they're also looking at building financing solutions and sourcing their parts domestically. Founded in 2018, they got their first product approved in 2019 and started installations by 2020 to 2022. They were growing beyond Southern California. In 2023, they brought manufacturing in-house to get better quality control. And since 2024 and even into 2025, they've launched new products like the NV Plus and a standalone inverter, getting ready for bigger residential and commercial jobs. They even moved into a larger facility in Poway, California. Their main products are the NVI-SIR, which is their flagship energy storage system, combining a battery with a hybrid inverter. Then there is the NuSIR, an expansion battery for the NVI-SIR, and the NV Plus for homes and businesses that need more power and longer runtimes. They also have the NV-Tide, a standalone inverter. They are even preparing to launch a much larger system for commercial and industrial customers, and a new higher Zen capacity inverter. They are serious about expanding their product line. The market for energy storage is growing, driven by things like grid reliability concerns and more people wanting to use solar power. There are millions of homes with solar panels that don't have batteries yet, which is a big opportunity for them. New solar installations are increasingly including battery storage, and the commercial and industrial market is also opening up. With changes in government incentives, financing options are becoming more important, and NeoVolta is working to partner with financing companies to make their products more accessible. Their CEO, Ardis Johnson, brought in around April 2024, has a clear plan. They want to expand sales by working with more distributors and regional installers. They are also developing financing solutions to make it easier for people to afford their systems. And importantly, they're reinvesting in new product development to stay competitive, looking at next generation systems and aiming to break into the commercial and industrial market with their new bigger system. They are also open to acquisitions and joint ventures to speed up their growth. Now, NeoVolta isn't alone in this market. They're up against big names like Tesla, LG Chem, and Enphase, who have a lot more money, manufacturing power, and brand recognition. But NeoVolta believes they have some advantages. They claim to have shorter wait times for products compared to some competitors, good support for their installers, and a focus on product safety and flexibility. They also aim to serve independent installers and distributors who might be overlooked by the bigger players. They've got a few patents for their solar power inverter systems and generators. They rely on these patents, along with trademarks and trade secrets, to protect their technology. They're also actively developing new products, like the commercial and industrial battery energy storage system, and that new high-capacity inverter. They are clearly investing in innovation. The energy storage industry is pretty complex when it comes to rules and regulations. Many states, especially California and Hawaii, have strict safety and interconnection standards. NeoVolta S products are certified under various standards like EL 9540 and EL 1741, which are important for safety and connecting to the grid. They believe these regulations, while complex, also create higher barriers for new companies to enter the market, which helps them. They handle the manufacturing of their main NVI-SIR and NuSIR systems at their facility in Poway, California. For other products, they work with contract manufacturers. Quality control and supply chain management are key. They are also working hard to use more domestically sourced components and make sure their supply chain is compliant with new rules about foreign entities. As of June 2025, they had 17 full-time employees. The CEO oversees strategy, sales, and product development, and the CFO handles finance and administration. Their Poway facility staff focuses on manufacturing. They also use consultants for specialized tasks. They consider their employee relationships to be good and are not unionized. Now, let's get into the risks. This is where we see what could go wrong. They're heavily reliant on their CEO and CFO. If either of them left, it could seriously disrupt the business. That is a big red flag for a small company. They've lost money since they started. For the year ending the 30th of June 2025, they lost $5.0 million. As of June 2025, their total accumulated losses were $25.8 million. If sales don't grow as fast as they hope, or if costs are higher, they might not become profitable. They even mentioned that if they can get enough funding, they might have to temporarily shut down operations. That is a serious concern. They also depend heavily on just two main suppliers for batteries and inverters. If those suppliers can't deliver on time or at good prices, it could really hurt NeoVolta. This single source dependency is a common vulnerability for smaller companies. And speaking of dependencies, a big chunk of their revenue comes from just a few wholesale dealers. For the year ending June 2025, their top two dealers made up about 41% and 23% of their revenue. Losing even one of these major customers could significantly impact their sales. They also admit that if their main products don't work as well as expected, it could damage their reputation and hurt their ability to sell anything. Given they're still building their brand, this would be a big blow. Let's look at their internal controls. Their management concluded that their disclosure controls and procedures were not effective as of June 2025. This is because they have a small team, making it hard to separate duties for proper checks and balances. Essentially, they don't have enough people to keep a close eye on everything, especially when it comes to financial reporting. They also mentioned in the section about internal controls over financial reporting that there was a material weakness due to the small number of employees, making a proper segregation of accounting duties impractical. Now, for the numbers that everyone really cares about. Looking at their balance sheet as of the 30th of June 2025, they had about $795,000 in cash. That might sound okay, but remember, they lost $5 million in the year ending June 2025. They also had over $3.5 million in current liabilities, meaning money they owe soon, and over $2.6 million in short-term loans. This suggests they are really relying on short-term borrowing to keep the lights on. Their revenues for the year ending June 2025 were $8.4 million, a big jump from $2.6 million in 2024. This is good, showing growth primarily due to new sales channels and their new CEO. However, their cost of goods sold also went up significantly from $2.1 million to $6.9 million. This means their gross profit, the money left after paying for what they sold, was only about $1.5 million on those $8.4 million in sales. That is a gross profit margin of around 18%, which is quite low. They're reselling more, but not making a lot of profit on each sale. On their cash flow statement for the year ending June 2025, you can see they used $4.4 million in cash just to run their two-day operations. This is a lot more than the $1 million they used in 2024. They got some cash from financing activities, about $4.2 million, mainly from a private equity offering and some short-term borrowing. This shows they are burning through cash rapidly and need consistent financing to stay afloat. In the notes, they explain that they're using the going concern basis for their financial statements. This means they're assuming they will continue to operate, but they also flat out say their ability to keep going depends on getting financing and becoming profitable. This is the company basically telling you they might not make it if they don't get more money. A significant part of their expenses and what they repaying their new CEO and CFO is through stock awards. For the year ending June 2025, they recognized over $2.1 million in stock compensation expense. This is a lot for a company that lost $5 million overall. It shows they are heavily relying on equity to attract and retain talent, which is common for startups, but it dilutes ownership for existing shareholders. The new CEO, Ardis Johnson, received stock worth $2.85 million that vests over 4 years. So what is the verdict on NeoVolta? On the one hand, they are showing revenue growth, which is great. Their expansion into new markets and new products like the commercial and industrial system shows ambition. They've also got a clear strategy driven by their new leadership. However, and this is a big however, the company is burning through a lot of cash, relies heavily on short-term borrowing and stock compensation, and has a history of net losses. The dependency on a few key suppliers and a small number of dealers is a major risk. Plus, the fact that their internal controls are not effective due to a small team means there is a higher chance of financial missteps. Even the company itself flags that their ability to continue as a going concern is dependent on securing financing. The bottom line is NeoVolta is a high-risk, high-reward play. They are in a growing industry but seem to be struggling to turn sales into sustainable profits. Investors need to be aware of the significant financial risks and the potential for further dilution as they continue to raise capital. Unless they can significantly improve their profitability and operational controls, their future remains uncertain. Alright, that is our breakdown of NeoVolta's latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.